Tuesday Insights, the deep dive into meteorology over the next several days. 1 degree outside weather network. Matt Noyes, thanks for making us a part of your routine when it comes to getting ready for the weather, whether it's sunshine or storms. You know, we try and give you that inside scoop as to what's going on. So in this video, we're going to talk about the fact that Wednesday night, it's going to fail to impress. I think for a lot of snow lovers, you're not going to be happy with Wednesday night. We'll talk about that in a couple of moments. There is another weekend system to watch. I'm not sold on how impressed you'll be with that, but we'll talk about that too. Cold comes in early next week. We're going to look at that toward the end of the video. And just so you know, I mentioned this in pattern predictions, and I'll refer you to that, but certainly the storm chances at least continue through next weekend. You're in the game, as I like to put it, right? As long as you got these storm chances coming by, it says that you're not out of the game yet in terms of snow. Jet stream, we talked about that in pattern predictions too. So if you haven't watched it, you want to head to 1degreeoutside.com and check out that pattern predictions video. But basically, it's down to the south. You get a little jet streak, a little smaller area of more intense wind coming up over New England. That helps to tug some of the snow northward into the south coast tonight. Now, I won't belabor the snow for tonight or the snow showers in northern New England that come in with a cold front because, again, I covered that in the 1 Degree Outside Today video that you'll also find at the homepage. So let's dig into the next several days and show you what's going on. We'll start with tomorrow. High pressure builds in across Quebec. All right, you've got this clockwise flow of air on high pressure. Low pressure misses to the south or just grazes the south coast. The next one's coming in from the south and west, but you've got counterclockwise flow of air on low pressure. In other words, folks, you've got this easterly wind that's coming in off the ocean, northeast to easterly during the course of Wednesday, and you've got cold air. The high's only 30. Ocean effect snow showers. Yeah, they're not going to impact places like Maine or northern New England and even far western New England, but we do think they're going to spread through eastern Mass. In the morning, it'll only be a flurry. In the afternoon, there'll be some scattered snow showers. It's not a lot. It's probably between about 0.2 of an inch and maybe about 0.6 of an inch spread over the course of noon to about 7 or 8 p.m. Then Wednesday night, here comes the next system. Now, why am I saying you're not going to be very impressive? Well, I'm going to set the table for you here. Let's go ahead and take a look at atmospheric energy. And you'll see Danielle and I showing this to you here at 1 Degree Outside pretty often, right? Because it does tell a good story when you're looking at the yellows, the oranges, the reds, representing atmospheric energy. And if you watch these videos a lot, or you really study the weather, then you know what it looks like when you've got a pretty good storm coming at you. This is the atmospheric energy just after midnight Wednesday night. Where is it? It's really very fragmented, very weak. There is not much here to write home about. And this is why I say I am not real excited about how this one's going to pan out for snow lovers Wednesday night. I mean, heck, you've got more energy diving in Thursday evening, kicking the whole system out and bringing a cold front through than you ever have with what comes through Wednesday night. It's just not the look of a system that's going to deliver you some decent snow, especially not to southern New England. Northern New England, you might get a little bit more just because the snow will be a little bit fluffier in nature. I'm not even sure it's all snow in southern New England when it starts. It may start as a mixture, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, admittedly, when you get to the weekend, some of the guidance is trying to bring the snow in on Saturday by late morning, but I look at this and say, yet again, where's the organization? It is a little bit better organized by Saturday evening and night. So that's probably your better chance of finding stuff moving in. We'll see on the timing as we get closer to it, but that's what I'm thinking. And then notice it's really strung out energy that comes pretty far north on Sunday. This begs to drag warm air north with it. It just begs to do it. So when you look at the map at the surface over the coming days, well, we'll start out with it tomorrow morning. And again, as I mentioned, I'm not going to belabor the overnight 1 to 2 inches near the south coast. You can find that in our 1 Degree Outside Today video. But as it goes by, you turn that easterly and northeasterly wind. You bring those scattered snow showers in over the course of the day, particularly in the afternoon. And then you get ready for the next system that's going to come in. Again, this is Wednesday evening, 10:30. Here comes some light snow breaking out in western New England. I'm going to be candid with you. This harkens back to the last storm we had when I explained to you why we were going to mix with sleet for a while in a lot of southern New England. I'm not sure. It's very close. I'm not sure we're going to have enough cold air to actually even make snow in some spots of southern New England, particularly the farther south you are, on Wednesday night. It may just start as some sleet and light freezing rain. That's why we think it's probably going to be a coating to 2 inches from about central Connecticut and Rhode Island running up to Route 2 respectively. Then when you get to northern New England, well, you snow a little bit longer and even into Thursday morning, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Even if it doesn't snow much in southern New England, right, the interior where you see in pink still sleets and has some freezing rain. It may not be very intense, but there will be some slick spots on Thursday morning that would need treatment. We think closer to the coast, particularly inside of 95, by about 7 or 8 in the morning is already jumping up to the melting point. And then the farther north that you go, the snow that comes down is about to the tune of 2 to 4 inches before going over to sleep, though it may be more like 5 and 6 in the mountains of Maine and in northern Maine, where not only do you stay colder longer, but actually you can see the warm front coming in. You stay on the cold side of that, so that helps you out. For For the rest of us, I think that once you go down to these light leftover rain showers Thursday morning, that's all you've got, kind of scattered around during the course of the day is some light rain showers, temperatures jumping up to about 40 in parts of southern New England. Notice you will get some upslope snow showers in the mountains. We get into Thursday evening and night. And Friday, the air that comes in is cold enough. I mean, it's chilly air on Friday. You get a couple of lake effect snow showers coming all the way off Lake Ontario, running into the hills of northwest Connecticut, western Mass, maybe even the central Mass. You get a flurry or quick snow shower out of that on Friday as well. So Saturday, remember I mentioned some of the guidance is bringing in the snow kind of on the early side. We're seeing that here. I just am not sure that I buy that yet, so I wouldn't bite into changing your plans on Saturday morning, midday, or even early afternoon yet, because of what we looked at with the energy. It may end up being a later arrival, late in the day into the night. I thought one thing that might be insightful here and kind of help to tell the story is if we take essentially the European guidance, but we're going to take what we call the ensemble, 50 different versions of it, and figure out the probability of 1 inch of snow coming down in 24 hours, right? So this is actually as we get into tomorrow evening, and this is the stuff, this is from tonight, what we're getting near the south coast. And you can see that's why we had an inch or two going in the 1 degree outside today forecast near the south coast. But notice if you figure in what's coming in Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, and you line that up with the legend, you've got about a 50-50 proposition of an inch at the Mass Turnpike, less the farther south you go. And that's why we say it's probably central Connecticut, central Rhode Island that gets a coating to maybe as much as 2 when you get up to the Mass New Hampshire border around Route 2, and then you get more the farther north you go. But I figure while we're in this, we might as well just play it out a little bit longer, right? Let's go ahead and play it into the weekend as well. Well, you get a better chance of getting an inch out of this anyway as we get, again, probably Saturday evening and night. Most of us seem to be in that. Even down to the south coast, it's better than a 50-50 shot. And again, that too would fill in farther to the north with time. In terms of precipitation, well, it may be all mixed and all different types, but over the next 48 to 72 hours, you pick up about a third of an inch of precipitation. We'll take what we can get anyway. We're still in a drought, and it'll help the water table somewhat. There's your high temperatures Thursday, running about 40. Now, remember, I was going to tell you about the cold coming in early next week, right? And we'll get to that in a minute. There may be just a little bit of black ice Thursday night. If you treat the roads, something to watch anyway. I think it's going to dry out in time before we get the real colder stuff coming in Thursday night, but just so you're aware, there might be a spot of it that needs to be treated. You get into Friday, and we're talking about temperatures that are held down. That shot of cool air and the wind chill is going to be in the teens at the warmest time of the day. Here I'm coloring surface temperature for you, the red line indicating the melting point, all right? And you'll see it comes through on Thursday with a storm that comes in. All right, that's what gets your temperature up. Here's that quick shot of cold on Friday. And then, yes, the warmth returns again as we get into Sunday on the second half of that storm that comes on through. But here's the more meaningful cold. And that kind of drops in on top of us lock, stock, and barrel as we get into Monday and Tuesday. So if you look at our app, you're going to see the colder temperatures reflected for early next week. And that's why. There is a chance of a storm on the backside of that when you get into the middle of next week. And again, next weekend. So that's why I say the chances continue. Track it all, totally free of charge. That's how we roll. It's the Noyes 1 degree outside weather app on the App Store and Google Play. Hope you find these insightful, even if they're not always the news you want to hear, especially for snow lovers. But I'll say this, I mentioned it yesterday. You're not going to lose snow when you get these changes to rain for the most part. You might in far southern New England, but ski country, snowmobile country, you're not going to lose a lot. It's just that you're not going to gain a whole lot either, unless you're in the north where we looked at. That's how it looks for now. Look forward to keeping you posted always at 1degreeoutside.com and on our app.